Hello, everyone, and welcome back to EasyTalk English. If you are listening right now, wherever you are in the world, we're really glad you're here with us today. This is a calm space, a friendly space, and a place where you don't need perfect English to belong. If English has felt a little heavy for you lately, you are in the right place.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex, and honestly, I'm really happy you pressed play today. Not because this episode would teach you something big right away, but because sometimes just staying with English is already a win. If you feel tired, slow, or unsure about your progress, you're not alone at all.
Alex, before we start, let me ask you something simple. How was your English day yesterday? Not the good version, but the real one, the kind of day people don't usually talk about.
Yesterday was hard, to be honest. I sat down in the evening, opened my notebook, and tried to study like I always do. After a few minutes, I felt very tired and my head felt full in a bad way. I read the same sentence again and again, and I thought, why is this still so difficult for me?
That feeling comes so fast sometimes, doesn't it? One moment you're motivated, and the next moment everything feels too much. What happened inside your head after that?
I felt small, like I was slow compared to other people. I started thinking maybe English just isn't for me, or maybe I started too late. For a short moment, I really wanted to close the book and stop trying. Not forever, but just stop.
Thank you for saying that out loud, Alex, because so many people listening right now know that exact moment, that quiet moment when you don't feel angry, just tired, and you start asking yourself hard questions. That's actually why we wanted to talk today.
Yes, today is not about grammar, and it's not about smart study tips. It's about that feeling when English feels like a big mountain and you're not sure you can keep walking. Especially for beginners, that feeling can be very strong.
So, the big question we want to explore together today is this: why do so many beginners want to quit English, even when they really want to learn? And more importantly, what can we do in those quiet, tired moments when giving up feels easier than continuing?
If you're listening and thinking, this sounds like me, we want you to know something very clearly. You don't need to understand everything today. You don't need to feel motivated right now. You just need to stay with us for a little while.
Before we go on, just a very gentle reminder. If Easy Talk English feels like a safe place for you, you can like this episode and subscribe to the channel. It helps us keep creating calm, real conversations like this, and it helps other learners find us too.
All right, take a breath, relax your shoulders, and let's keep talking. This episode is for anyone who feels tired with English but hasn't fully let go yet.
Before we go any further, I want to say something very clearly. If you feel tired, confused, slow, or frustrated with English, there is nothing wrong with you. These feelings are not signs of failure. They are signs that you are actually learning.
I really want to stay with that for a moment because this feeling of being stuck can feel very lonely. When I'm studying and I don't feel progress, my mind starts asking quiet questions like, am I doing this right? Or why am I still here after all this time? And I usually don't say these thoughts out loud.
That silence is important because many learners think they are the only one feeling this way. They look at other people and assume everyone else is moving forward smoothly. But in reality, almost every learner feels stuck again and again, even people who are already quite good at English.
For me, the hardest part is studying for days or weeks and not feeling any clear change. I listen, I read, I try to remember words, but inside I think, I sound the same as last week. That's when frustration shows up, not loudly, but slowly.
And that's the moment many people misunderstand learning. Learning does not always come with a clear feeling of progress. Sometimes progress is very quiet, almost invisible, especially in the beginning.
It's strange because we expect learning to feel like climbing stairs, one step after another. But English doesn't work like that for most people. Some days you feel strong, and some days you feel like you're standing still.
That's why I love this image. Learning English is like walking in fog. You can't see very far, maybe 1 or 2 steps ahead, and it can feel scary, but even if you can't see the progress, you are still moving forward.
I really like that because when you're in fog, you don't stop walking just because you can't see the end. You trust that the path is there, even if it's hidden right now. Learning English feels exactly like that for me.
Yes, and the fog doesn't mean you are lost. It just means your brain is working quietly, connecting sounds, ideas, and patterns without asking for attention. Progress often happens before you can feel it.
That helps me a lot because I used to think if I don't feel progress, then nothing is happening. But now I'm starting to understand that learning is not always loud. Sometimes it's slow, soft, and invisible.
And that's why feeling stuck does not mean you are failing. It means you are inside the process, not outside of it. People who fail are usually the ones who stop completely, not the ones who feel confused and keep going.
So if you're listening right now and thinking, I feel slow or I feel frustrated, please hear this. You are not alone and you are not behind. You are simply learning in a very human way.
Exactly. English is not a race, and there is no correct speed. Feeling stuck is part of the journey, not the end of it. And the fact that you're still listening today already tells us something important about you.
It tells us that even when learning feels heavy, you haven't given up yet, and that matters more than you think.
There's one sentence I really want everyone to remember today. When learning feels hard, your brain is working. It sounds simple, but it changes the way you see those difficult days.
I remember the first time I heard that idea, it surprised me. I always thought hard days meant I was doing something wrong, but now when English feels uncomfortable, I try to remind myself that something is actually happening inside my head.
Exactly. And I often compare learning English to exercise. When you exercise and your muscles feel sore the next day, it doesn't mean you're weak. It means your muscles are growing stronger, even if it doesn't feel good in that moment.
That comparison really fits. When I forget words I learned yesterday or I mix up grammar again, my first thought used to be frustration. But now I see it more like muscle pain, a sign that I'm pushing a little past my comfort zone.
And that comfort zone is important to talk about. When everything feels easy, your brain is relaxed, but it's not changing much. Growth usually happens when things feel slightly uncomfortable, not when they feel perfect.
I see that in my own study habits. On days when I only review things I already know, I feel confident, but I don't really improve. On days when I try something harder, like listening without subtitles, I feel lost, but I learn more.
That feeling of being lost is something many learners fear. They think, I don't understand, so I'm failing. But not understanding everything is actually part of learning something new.
I also want to talk about mistakes, because they hurt our confidence the most. When I say something wrong, especially in front of other people, I feel embarrassed and I want to be quiet.
That reaction is very human, but mistakes are not the enemy. Mistakes are proof that you are brave enough to try. People who never make mistakes are usually the ones who never speak.
That's true, because every mistake I remember clearly taught me something. Perfect sentences disappear quickly, but wrong sentences stay in my memory and help me improve next time.
And that's why the easy zone can be dangerous. It feels safe, but nothing new grows there. Staying in the easy zone may protect your confidence for a short time, but it slows your progress in the long run.
I like to think of it this way. When English feels a little hard today, that means I'm stepping forward, not backward. It's uncomfortable, but it's honest progress.
Yes, and growth doesn't need to be loud or fast. It can be quiet, slow, and personal. Hard days don't mean you are bad at English. They mean you are doing something meaningful.
So if today feels difficult, please don't see that as a sign to quit. See it as a sign that your brain is learning, even if your heart feels tired.
Hard does not mean wrong. Hard often means growth, and growth always begins where comfort ends. There's one sentence I hear again and again from learners, and it sounds very heavy. They say, I don't have time for English. When I hear that, I don't hear laziness, I hear tired people.
Yes, that sentence feels very real to me. After work, my head feels full, my body feels tired, and the last thing I want is another task. English starts to feel like a big responsibility instead of something helpful.
And that's exactly why we need to change the way we think about time. Many learners imagine English as one long hour with books, grammar, and pressure. That picture alone is enough to make anyone want to stop.
That picture scares me too. When I think I need one full hour, I often do nothing at all. I tell myself I'll study tomorrow, but tomorrow becomes next week.
This is where something very simple can change everything. 5 minutes is enough. Not perfect, not impressive, but enough to keep moving.
At first, 5 minutes sounded too small to matter. I thought, what can I really learn in 5 minutes? But then I realized 5 minutes is much better than 0 minutes.
Exactly, because English doesn't grow in big jumps. It grows in small steps. One word is one win. One sentence you understand is one small victory.
When I started thinking this way, the pressure dropped. On busy days, I just listened to one short audio or read one paragraph. I didn't feel proud, but I also didn't feel guilty.
And that feeling is important. Learning should not be built on guilt. It should be built on kindness toward yourself, especially on hard days.
Hard days are tricky because that's when quitting feels logical. Your brain says you're tired, stop, and emotionally that feels true.
That's why this sentence matters so much. On hard days, don't run, just don't stop. You don't need to push fast, you just need to stay.
I really like that idea because it removes drama. I don't need to be strong or motivated, I just need to stay connected to English, even in a very small way.
This is where consistency becomes more important than intensity. Studying a little, many times, builds much more than studying a lot one time.
I've seen this in my own progress. The weeks I did a little every day, even 5 minutes, felt better than the weeks I studied hard once and stopped.
And we also need to talk about rest, because many learners confuse rest with failure. Rest is not quitting. Rest is part of learning.
That really helped me. On days when I'm exhausted, I tell myself, today is a rest day, not a failure day. That small change protects my motivation.
A tired brain cannot learn well. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your English is sleep, breathe, and come back tomorrow with a calmer mind.
So time is not the real problem. Pressure is. When learning feels too heavy, we stop. When learning feels possible, we continue.
5 minutes makes English feel possible. One word makes progress visible. And staying, even quietly, is already success.
If you're listening right now and thinking, I don't have time, please hear this. You don't need more time, you need smaller steps.
Small steps taken gently, again and again, will always take you further than big steps taken once and abandoned. There is one topic beginners don't talk about enough, but it sits very deep inside them. It's not grammar or vocabulary, it's fear. Fear quietly controls many decisions when people learn English.
Yes, and that fear shows up in many ways. Fear of saying the wrong word, fear of bad grammar, fear that someone will laugh. Sometimes it's not loud fear, just a small voice saying, don't speak.
And when people don't speak, shame slowly grows. They start thinking, everyone else is better than me, or I sound stupid. That feeling hurts more than any grammar mistake.
I know that feeling very well. There were times I understood the question, but I stayed quiet because I was afraid of my answer. I wasn't lazy, I was scared.
This is something we need to say very clearly. Fear does not mean you are weak. Fear means you care. If English didn't matter to you, you wouldn't be afraid at all.
That idea changed how I see fear. Instead of thinking, I'm bad at English, I started thinking, English matters to me. That feels very different.
Exactly. And fear often comes from caring about connection. You want to be understood, you want to be respected, and you want to belong. Those are human needs, not problems.
Another big fear is accent. Many beginners hate their accent. They think sounding different means sounding wrong.
This is so important to talk about. Your accent is not a weakness. Your accent is your story. It means you learned another language instead of growing up with it.
When you say that, I feel lighter. My accent shows effort, not failure. It shows courage, not mistakes.
And here is a sentence every learner needs to hear. Your English does not need permission. You don't need to wait until you are perfect to speak.
That sentence is powerful. I realized I was waiting for some invisible approval, like one day someone would say, "Now you're good enough." That day never comes.
It never comes because confidence does not arrive before action. Confidence comes after you speak, not before. You talk first, then confidence slowly follows.
I noticed that after my first few real conversations. My voice was shaking, my grammar wasn't great, but after speaking, I felt proud. That pride stayed longer than the fear.
That pride is important. It teaches your brain that speaking is not dangerous. Each time you speak, fear loses a little power.
Some learners think native speakers are judging them, but most people are not judging, they are listening. And kind people respect effort.
And if someone is unkind, they are not your teacher. Your English exists to communicate, not to impress. Communication is brave, even when it's imperfect.
I wish beginners knew this earlier. Silence feels safe, but it also keeps you stuck. Speaking feels scary, but it opens doors.
Fear doesn't disappear one day. It becomes quieter each time you act anyway. That's how confidence grows, slowly and honestly.
So if you're listening right now and feeling afraid, please hear this. You are not broken, and you are not behind. You are learning.
Speak with mistakes, speak with an accent, speak with simple words. Your English already belongs in the world.
And every time you speak, even one sentence, you prove something important to yourself. You can do hard things.
Fear means you care. Your accent tells your story, and confidence will come after you speak. That is the real order of learning English.
When people feel very tired with English, I don't think they need more tips. I think they need to slow down and remember why they started. That why is usually much deeper than grammar or tests.
I agree, and on tired days, I often forget my reason. I only see the book, the words, and the mistakes. But when I pause and remember my purpose, my heart feels lighter.
For many people, that purpose is connection. They want to talk, understand, and feel part of the world. English becomes a bridge, not a subject.
For me, faith also plays a role. When I feel weak, I remember that effort matters more than speed. I don't need to be fast, I just need to keep going.
That's very important. Many learners think they are failing because they are slow. But slowness is not failure. Slowness is often careful, deep learning.
Sometimes I pray or sit quietly when learning feels heavy. It reminds me that I'm not alone in this process. Trust gives me calm, and calm helps me learn.
Faith doesn't have to be loud or perfect. It can simply be trust. Trust that small effort still counts, even when you don't feel progress.
Yes, and this is where many people misunderstand time. They see time as an enemy. They think, I've been learning too long.
But time is not your enemy. Time is your partner. Time is what allows learning to settle, grow, and become natural.
When you rush, you fight time. When you stay patient, time works with you. That idea changed how I learn.
There is also something very gentle we need to say. Don't decide your future on a tired day. Tired thoughts are not true thoughts.
I've made that mistake before. On a bad day, I thought about quitting. On a better day, I was grateful I didn't.
Exactly. Rest is allowed. Pausing is allowed. But quitting because you're tired is not an honest decision.
When learners reconnect with their why, the pressure becomes smaller. English is no longer a mountain, just a path.
And paths don't need running, they need steady steps. One word, one sentence, one day at a time.
If you're listening and feeling weak right now, please remember this. Your effort is seen even when progress is quiet.
Faith, purpose, and patience hold you when motivation is gone. That's how people keep going, not by force, but by trust.
Time is your partner, not your enemy, and you don't need to rush to arrive. You are already on the way. Before we finish today, I want us to slow down together for a moment. If you're still listening, that already means something. It means you didn't give up, at least not today.
Yes, and that matters more than you think. You are not slow. You're learning. And learning is not a race. It's a process that takes time.
Many people believe progress should feel loud and clear, but most real progress is quiet. It happens inside, even when you don't notice it.
So if today felt heavy, please remember this. Feeling tired does not mean you are failing. It means you are human and still trying.
Let's keep the message simple as we close. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are learning step by step.
And because learning takes time, we want to give you a very small, gentle challenge. Nothing scary, nothing perfect.
Here it is. Today, just say one English sentence out loud. One sentence is enough. It can be very simple.
You can say something like, I am learning English, or today I feel tired but hopeful. Say it in your room or quietly to yourself.
This is not about sounding good. It's about staying connected to English in a kind way.
And if you feel comfortable, we invite you to share one sentence with us. Just one sentence in the comments.
We read them. We really do. And every sentence tells us that someone out there is still trying.
If this episode felt familiar, if you saw yourself in this conversation, you can gently press like. It helps us know you're here.
And if you want to keep walking this journey with us, you can subscribe to EasyTalk English. No pressure, just an open door.
This is a community for learners who don't quit on hard days, learners who move slowly but honestly.
We want to leave you with one calm thought. You don't need to be fast. You just need to stay.
Stay curious. Stay gentle with yourself. Stay one more day.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for trying. And thank you for not giving up today.
We'll be here, one word at a time, one day at a time.